Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Tabletop Tap Room. Today we have a sci-fi theme going because I'm in the cockpit of the spaceship. So, welcome to Free Friday. Admittedly, Free Friday is a misnomer. Not everything is actually free that I review on Friday, but we're talking pay what you want, free, and nominal charges. And I consider a nominal charge to be roughly $5 and under, but if we found something really cool and it's $6, we're going to do that. So it's so admittedly this is a misnomer, but I'm looking at a product today, a game master tool that's going to get you out of a rut. You've seen ruts. You ever walk down a dirt road and it's a well-traveled dirt road, so the vehicles have their tires have created ruts in the road, and so you try to take your vehicle down that road and you go just a little bit to the side and you try to stay out of the rut, and then all of a sudden, boom, you fall back, your vehicle fall, and you can't get out because so you just ride it out. These are ruts. We see them in dirt roads. We get into ruts in our writing, where you start reaching to, even in your gaming, you'll go, all right, a lot of your NPCs will all have the same voice. If you do the voices, hey, one after another, they're all the same. So they all got the same voice. We get into these ruts, and we can get into these ruts with our writing. And I'm going to be looking at a tool today for building adventures. And it is a tool that will definitely get you out of your rut. And I just did a test with it and ended up writing an adventure I would not have come up with on my own. Okay, that was the real test. What am I going to get out of this? Did I get an adventure I like? Did I get something I really want to run? Did I get an adventure that is different than what I would have just naturally come up with? So this product got me out of whatever ruts I have, and brought me into, this is an interesting thing. But before we get to that, let me just say thank you for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. Please do hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. Help me build the channel. And please humor me while we get a quick word in from my sponsor, Gloomer Games.
Brought to you by Gloomer Games Mystic Days, the Caldwell Edition. The Kickstarter includes 4 hardbound books: Monsters and Mayhem, Magic and Treasure, Player's Book, and Adventure Guide. OSR style, 6 classic stats, no character classes, you build the character you want, no initiative to slow things down, no OP characters, and death is always on the table. You roll to cast, failure could lead to an explosive catastrophe, and every weapon is unique. Polearms get the place they deserve with every weapon having a reach modifier, and monsters are bestial and not humanized. With fantastic cover art by Clyde Caldwell, this is old school gaming the way you remember. Links below.
Yes, links below. Thank you, Professor Dungeon Master. Yes, links below. I was just actually on the phone with Andy from Gloomer Games about 2 days ago, and they are on the cusp of tripling their funding goal, which will unlock more of the rewards in the Kickstarter. And they've got some exciting rewards. So you definitely want to check that out. And thank you for doing that. This is Quick Fantasy Adventure Builder. I might as well show you the RPG. It's a pay what you want watermark PDF. 99 cents is the suggested retail price. But it's a pay what you want, and it's really short. I mean, this is over here. You can see 6 pages in the PDF, and basically you get a nice little cover. This cover's been run through a filter. So I don't know that it's AI art, but it definitely, I can tell that it's been run through a filter, maybe possibly on bfunky.com. That's what I can tell from looking at that. And I didn't examine the credit. So this product, actually, there are 2 tables that can generate 12,965,625 unique adventure ideas. That's how many permutations of the tables are possible. So yeah, there's a lot of potential here, it claims, for unique adventures. And that was, I'm going to review this by actually doing it. I'm going to do the process as a little walkthrough tutorial, and we'll see what I come up with. But I've actually assigned myself an even greater challenge. This is a fantasy adventure generator. I'm going to use it and see if I can't write a sci-fi adventure, because science fiction actually has more parameters, more guardrails, you've more lines you got to stay within. Fantasy, it's really kind of wide open. You can do what you like. But it's science fiction, I feel like, it's going to be a greater challenge. So we'll see what happens with that. But you come down here, you've got table number 1. It's labeled Acquisition Quest. You're going to roll the D25 times. I just mass rolled them, recorded the numbers, then looked them up on the table and wrote out the adventure prompts. And you come down to the next one is the non-acquisition quest. You're rolling the D100 percentage dice and consulting this table. I don't know the difference. I didn't see the difference. I did one. Well, actually, I've done multiple of the first table with the D20, and I did one of the second table. For the purposes of video, I was just doing 1 and 1. But then last night I couldn't record a video, so I just was idly rolling up adventures and going, all right, this is what I would do. This is what I would do with that. This is what I do with that. So the next page is a printer friendly, not gonna drain your ink, of the first table, and then the printer friendly of the second table, and that's it for this. So you're gonna look at this and go, I don't know if I want to drop $1 for this. Let's find out what happens when we roll this. Now, so I grabbed a D20, rolled it 5 times, and came up with a series of numbers here: 9, 14, 19, 16, and 13. Consulting the chart for each column, I got the task is to hide people in a hidden workroom with a complication from rowdy townsfolk. Now, the hidden workroom. Now, I'm attempting to do a Star Frontiers adventure. So here's my trusty poster map of Port Lauren and hidden workroom. Well, I know down here in this corner is a repair service right next to the Stellar Arms Hotel. So I thought, all right, that'd be a good place for a hidden workroom. So I don't have much yet, but I've got a hidden workroom, and I've just nominally penciled it in this repair service. Now, people. What are the people and the rowdy townsfolk? Well, I got thinking about the rowdy townsfolk, and I know that in the Star Frontier setting, that if you go to Dragon 109, Patriots. The article Patriots, Terrorists, and Spies by Kim Eastland, you will find a terrorist cadre called the Firsters. And the Firsters, this group is quasi-political terrorist faction. They believe that all of the Rim races, the Ishnit, Huma, Asakar from Zebulon's Guide that were introduced in Zebulon's Guide, should be sent back to the Rim. Their slogan is such cliches as the frontier for the founders, kick a rimmer today. At first, this organization was not taken seriously by most inhabitants of the frontier and became the butt of many a joke. But recent militant activities aimed at members of the Rim races and their businesses have sobered the public to the reality of violent racial prejudice. The Alliance for the Rights of the People is the greatest opponent to the Firster movement. Okay, so here we go. Rowdy townsfolk. What if there is a demonstration that quickly turns into a riot in downtown Port Lauren? This, this kind of strikes a little close to home with things that went on a couple years ago, but it's a what do I do with rowdy townsfolk? I like this. There's a demonstration that's been organized by the firsters, so they don't want the rimmers. Get rid of the rim. Get rid of the rimmers. Send them back to the rim. So who's the people that have to be taken and hidden in the hidden workroom? Well, probably going to have to be delegates from the rim. And since this is Port Lauren, which is where the Council of Worlds is, let's say that these people are delegates that came for something at the Council of Worlds. Maybe there's a treaty the treaty that's being signed between the Rim and the UPF, Treaty of Cooperation and Protection, so that if the UPF gets attacked, the Rim will come and help. If the Rim gets attacked, the UPF will come and help. So this treaty does happen in canon. So maybe the delegates are here, and this demonstration, which turns into a riot, is what has happened. So let's go back to our map. And right here, next to the Pan-Galactic Corporation, is a luxury apartment tower. It's identical to so it's probably built by PGC. It's probably administered by PGC, but it's the luxury apartment tower. And I mean, so this makes sense. This would be where the delegates are going to start out. And this is where the player characters come. Arrangements are finalized. They're going to take people to all the way over here to the repair service. Why? Because you know what? That hidden workroom beneath the repair service, there's actually a tunnel over here to the Capone Free Merchants office. Now, the Capone Free Merchants are always well fronted, so that makes this repair service one of their fronts. And that it's not normally, you don't even know you're doing business with a Capone Free Merchant. That's how well fronted they are. But this is Port Lauren, so not unusual that the Capone Free Merchants actually have put an office in, but it's not the office that they really do. It's the office they do business out of for interacting with the UPF, for interacting with other megacorps. It's not the business office for selling goods, trading goods, which is done by individual merchants. So there's an individual merchant who runs this repair service, and he's a front for the CFM. And the delegates have to be brought here, not in the front door over here. They brought here, then they'll take the tunnel over. And after that, the Capone Free Merchants will take the delegates and get them off planet and get them safe out of the riot. However, I thought, what a nice plot twist. You get there. This demonstration's going on, and they're going to be groups of 10 to 20. So D10 plus 10. Rioters, demonstrators, all throughout the streets. However, when you get over here, this is the city services building up here. And it's got Star Law office, the police, city computer, fire department, and jail. And then over here is the government building. And over here is, again, the Capone Free Merchants office, public face of the CFM. That all this area here is going to have heavier crowds. So you will, the rioters will be thicker. So it might be 20 to 30, or you just max the rolls. There's 20 of them. This group has 20. This group has 20. Now, I did not go back and look up the particulars concerning the map. Each square is this much, but I do know that this map, you laid it on the table, you had your die cut counters, and the die cut counters were a half inch, and you just dropped them in the square. And so a counter would be in a square, and it would be a character, or it would be a vehicle. So I'm going to rule these squares are pretty big and can hold a number of people. They can hold a whole vehicle, or they can hold a small crowd of people. So this map is, even, with these squares, for this adventure, the squares actually represent more space than you would think by just looking at the map. And this whole thing of bringing delegates from the luxury tower, you get down to the first floor, just getting out of the tower, there's going to be rioters. So there's doors here. There's actually a walkway. That's an elevated walkway over to the PGC building. Couple of doors here. Because of all the rioters in the street, you can't use a vehicle. There's no vehicles moving on the streets. Vehicles that attempt to move in this get overturned, lit on fire, that type of thing. So no vehicles are moving will be part of the complications. So what have we got here? The who is so I thought for this we could randomly roll who the delegation will be. Roll D4. 1 is Ifschnitz, 2 is Ossakar, 3 is Huma, and 4 is mixed. And that gives you some multiple playability. You can play this. You'll be able to play this multiple times. It's going to be a little different if it's Huma versus if it's Ifschnitz. So you roll randomly, and you roll for the number of individuals in the party. Now, this obviously is not all of the delegates that have come, because I would imagine that the 3 homeworlds of the 3 species from the realm would send substantial parties to the Council of Worlds. That each one would have a party, and it would be a substantial group, because you're going to have the lead delegate, his aide, interpreters, so on and so forth. Actually, I think almost any group, like if you had Ifschnitz, this should at least be 1 Ossakar, because they're just a walking interpreter, walking polyvox. Their motto is polyvox. We don't need no stinking polyvox. Anyhow, that's the Ossakar. So I almost would want to, even if I rolled Ifschnitz, I would almost be like, here's the 2 delegates and their aide, and then they have an Ossakar interpreter. And so you roll randomly for the number of delegates and what their species is. And then I wrote here, they're in Port Lorne for a session of the Council of Worlds, but the demonstration riot has sprung up in the streets, and they're seeking to get to the Capone free merchant contact to get off planet. For this, they're offering several thousand credits to be taken to a secret room beneath the repair service, which has, that should have an H, has a tunnel to the Capone free merchants. So it's a front. Now, Rowdy Tone. So yeah, we've established that the Firsters have organized this. Now, there are a number of complications. You have rioters are everywhere in packs of 10 to 20. They're wearing civilian clothes and no defenses. So even though they outnumber the party of delegates and player characters, they're fragile. They don't have defenses, no sky suits, no screens. They're just civilians who got whipped up and sent out for this demonstration, which turned into a riot. In this group, 1 will have a lethal weapon, 2 will have non-lethal weapons, 3 will have non-lethal grenades, smoke, doze, or tangler, since these are popular in the setting, and 1 will have a Molotov cocktail. Maybe we should make that Molotov cocktails plural. And then the rest will be evenly split between those who are throwing punches, i.e. unarmed, and those throwing rocks. So there's your mob. And it's a random size. And, there's a sprinkling of various kinds of weapons in there. Vehicles cannot move on the streets. Taxis have been recalled. No one is renting vehicles. That is a complication for this adventure. So there's no just, all right, let's rent a truck and zip over there. Not going to happen. You got to do it the hard way. You got to almost hex crawl your way across the map. So rioters are also riding the monorails. Let's go back to the map. just to point out, you've got one monorail line here that goes along the north side. I'm calling the upper part of the map the north side. Okay, there is a monorail station here right next to luxury apartments, another one right here next to the hospital, and another one next to the liquor store. Woohoo! Go get your improvised Molotov cocktails. And that heads toward the starport off the north side of the map. There is another monorail line along the southern midline of the map. So you can pick that up here right outside the zoo and the convention center. There's another stop over here near the pharmacy and the Hole in the Wall Tavern. And another one over here near this real estate office and this little mall that's attached to the Stellar Arms Hotel. And finally, another monorail station right outside the government building where the thickest group of rioters are. So not good. So there's no easy way to do this. There's no just, we just jump on the monorail and zip over there. Nope, not happening. You might use the monorail to move around, but you're going to encounter rioters on the monorail. Though very likely to be a confrontation. Rioters are thicker in the vicinity, so we covered that. And then just hiding in a building is not an option. As by GM fiat, looters, rioters will break in and run amok, or a Molotov cocktail will come through the window and start a fire. So various complications. Encounters. I wrote up a bunch of encounters. Rioters. Now, as I'm thinking at this and looking at the map, I'm remembering back to the basic game, because if you don't know, Star Frontiers came with a basic game book to just ease you into it, and then the expanded book. And I always forget about the basic game book because you just kind of, we immediately jumped right into the expand. We were like, no, we don't want these stripped down characters. We want full bore characters. And so we just jumped right into the expanded game. We didn't need to ease into the game with the basic game. Well, one of the encounters in the basic game is that a creature called the Hydra has broken out of the zoo. And the police are actually all tied up at a multi-car accident over near the starport. So they can't respond immediately. There's a delay in their ability to respond. So it's just kind of a, player characters jump in and help out to prevent the Hydra from running amok and, killing people. It's basically your monster scenario, not quite big enough for it to be King Kong or Godzilla, but bad enough that, you got to get involved. So I thought, well, what if the rioters, broke it, because of the riot and the demonstration and people running amok, that stuff happened at the zoo and creatures got out. So you could actually, as one of the potential encounters, you could throw the Hydra encounter from the basic game book right into the middle of this. And why not? Because if you look here on the map, you've got the luxury apartment towers right there and the zoo's right here. So that thing's coming out and heading down the road this way. And, one of the things that the player characters might be doing is they might be coming down this street here and slipping through here to maybe hopefully limit the, try to use the building to screen and block rioters from seeing them with the hated rimmers. So, that's, I think throwing in the Hydra encounter, great, especially if you never played it. I've played it twice. So if you've never played it, this is a great opportunity. Throw it in. Maybe you don't like the Hydra. Grab another creature. Plenty were introduced in the modules, in the rule book. Plenty were introduced in the Star Frontiersman magazine, the Frontier Explorer magazine. So there are plenty of options out there, especially if you just don't like the Hydra. Having a pack of Velociraptor type creatures running loose in the streets sounds like fun, especially during a riot. So one of the other encounters here, one of the protectees or delegates has panic attacks and they freeze up at the threat of violence to their person. PC, then this creates an opportunity for a PC with psychosocial skill to use the psychopathology subskill to prevent any more panic attacks. So there's a little opportunity. I thought this would be fun. Otherwise, if you don't have anybody with psychosocial, every time there's an encounter and the threat of violence to this one character with panic attacks, they could have a panic attack, which causes them to freeze up, hyperventilate, run away in the wrong direction or a random direction. Use the grenade bounce table for that. The leader of the protectees / delegates spots someone he knows, same species, being beaten by 5 to 6 rioters and demands the PCs rescue them. A citizen approaches the PCs, bleeding and covered in blood before dropping the 0 stamina and passing out unconscious at their feet. So, what are they going to do? Are they going to stick to, hey, we've got a job here, we're not responsible for you? Or are they going to, make a moral decision to help out somebody who's in need? And then finally, an assassin is using the rioters to cover attempts to assassinate one of the delegates. He has a doze dagger. This was an item I introduced in one of the fan magazines. Basically, it's a dagger with a channel. The handle has a reservoir. And the original intent was to load it with the same juice they put in a doze grenade or in, so by stabbing somebody, it deploys the chemical, which causes them to knock out. Because you've stabbed them and you've introduced this chemical directly into their body, they're at a negative for their save versus, falling asleep as per the doze grenade. So the doze dagger was an interesting item. And of course, naturally, somebody's going to say, screw the doze chemical. Let's put poison in there. So this will be a poison-loaded doze dagger. And the assassin will attempt to sneak up, stab the delegate, and then use the distraction of the whole crowd and the riot to slip away. For that reason, I've not actually developed a stat block for them, but I specified their skills, melee beam, and their equipment. They're wearing a civilian sky suit. This will be like maybe the first person the player characters encounter who have a sky suit on, have an actual defense. They're employing a hollow screen, a power belt, doze dagger loaded with poison, laser pistol, and 2 clips. So they should be able to make a credible attempt at an assassination. And if the players are not paying attention, they might get away with it. Okay, they might get away with it, which, hopefully they have a medic in the party. This is an adventure where a medic in the party might not be a bad idea. And the plot twist is when they reach the repair service, they find out that because the rioters are firsters, this demonstration is against anything connected to the Rim. The CFM are connected to the Rim. They're headquartered in the Capella system in the Rim. So they have actually attacked, looted, destroyed, lit on fire the Capellan Free Merchants office. Anybody that was there evacuated to the starport. The front man at the repair service, that is his business. He's holding fort there. So all he can do is lock the door and give the player characters and the delegates a secure place to rest and recover. You can, at the repair service, you can recharge your power belts and your power backpacks if anybody has those and they need to top off the energy in them. You can do whatever medical skill checks you need to do to, buff people up, perform surgery, do whatever you got to do to get everybody back up to full stamina. And now the mission becomes, we've got to get our delegates, our charges, our protectees to the starport. And so you're back on the map, and basically they need to get into a monorail, either one, because this monorail has a branch that goes straight to the starport. So it's a continuation, but the crowds are thicker here. The likelihood of combat and confrontation is heavy. And again, no vehicles available. Just no vehicles available. And even if they were, you wouldn't be able to move very far in the streets. So that's the twist. Adventure's not over. You still got more to go. And I kind of like that. So that was my adventure. And then I wrote out, I then did the next table, which was percentage dice, roll percentage dice. And this is a non-acquisition quest, but you're still going to acquire something in this quest. I don't know how that works, but whatever. So I rolled out the 5 dice rolls. I checked the prompts, and it's to get find the Forbidden Garden, to locate a mythical egg, and the plot twist is it's not there, it's lost. What do I do with this? Well, the player characters have delivered their delegates to the CFM at the starport. Starport's a little more secure, heavier security there. You know, I view it like a modern day airport. You know, there are things in place to prevent trouble. You know, just barricades, bollards, you know, just the security measures are just a little bit tighter than like downtown. So it's safer there. But one of the delegates is an Osakar. Okay. Because what do I do with this mythical egg? What do I do with this mythical egg? Well, as I was thinking here, I went to Zebulon's Guide and I double checked. The Osakar are plant-like. They have an epidermis. It's made up of thousands of large, white, hard, plate-like cells that are shingled down all over the body. They resemble a huge white plant more than any animal. The Osakar only have one sex, which is considered female, and new individuals develop from unfertilized eggs. To all other races, the Osakar appear completely identical, like clones. So, all right, they reproduced through eggs. I'm thinking, all right, an Osakar, they had an egg, and they put it because they're plant-like, they have nestled it in a nice bit of loam and mulch in a garden. Now, this Forbidden Garden, we're going to say that it's a garden level in the luxury apartment tower. So now the new mission is that they want the player characters to go back to the luxury tower and recover the egg that's in the garden there. The garden's attached to the luxury suites, right? And they have to recover this egg because it's the offspring of this Osakar that they've been guarding. So you almost have to have at least one Osakar in the party to be able to go on to this. So that's what I did with the egg and the hidden garden. It's hidden there. They're going to provide you with a key card that'll get you access to the suite, that'll get you access to the garden. Now, this thing about it's not there, it's lost. So, yeah, I've specified the 207th floor of the luxury apartment tower needs to be retrieved. The CFM is evacuating the delegates from Port Lauren because of the riot. I did put in a note about negotiating for more money. After they reached the repair service, they could negotiate for more money. The lead delegate would gladly agree to doubling their pay. So if they've already contracted for 1,000 credits each player character, or 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 for the whole party to split, they can double that at the repair service through negotiation. But now they're at the starport. They've got to come all the way back through the riot, and they know it's bad. So therefore, they can now negotiate for 3.5 to 3 to 4 times their original starting salary at this event, at the beginning of this adventure. And the CFM will resupply them with some minor ammunition, some minor supplies that they're able to just take off one of their shuttles. So that's the new mission. They've now got to go back through the riots. And I wrote in a new complication that squads of police are beginning to disperse and arrest rioters. If the PCs are displaying weapons, a confrontation is almost inevitable. Don't know how that's going to go. That's up for the players to role play that out and figure out, because the cops are not going to be like, yeah, no, we're the good guys. We've been hired to do this. You got to let us go. And the cops are going to be like, put everybody in the patrol wagon, bring them to the jail. We'll sort you out later. So I don't know how that's going to go, but I put in the complication there. That's for each game master to figure out with the players. But when you get to when they get there, there's a Firster action team. Now, this riot has been Firster inspired. It's a demonstration. They've whooped up, civilians. They've got them to come out. What you now have is an actual action team. These are legitimate terrorists. This is a legitimate terrorist cell for the Firster terrorist cadre. And they are there already sweeping the suite of the delegates, and they've already found the egg. And so, or they're just finding the eggs as the egg as the player characters show up. So that's yet another. What are they going to do now? If you don't get the egg, you can't get paid. You need to get paid. You've been through all this trouble. You want to get paid. So that's what I did with this. Now, so here's my opinion on it. I think this is an absolutely fabulous tool. I think it's actually well worth the 99 cents. I mean, you could, of course, put $0 in there. I checked it out for $0, but I'm going to go back and throw $1 on there because it was worth it. It's well worth it. And I think the guy who came up with it, Christopher Capone, possibly a distant relative of Al Capone, who knows? I think he deserves the buck for this because I plan on using it. It forced me to write a Star Frontiers adventure set in Port Lauren that I would not have written on my own. I would have not come up with this adventure on my own. These prompts, these unique prompts, pushed me out of my rut. So this accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish, and all for the price tag of pay what you want. Suggested retail price $1. Definitely worth $1. And I'm kind of liking this. I'm thinking I got to write this up and get it published for the Star Frontiers community. I think this works as an adventure. So, and why not? Anytime you can recycle existing maps is great. And here we go. Reuse of, and worked in the Hydra from the basic game. I think that was a great use there. I think that was pretty inspiring when I went, oh yeah, let's throw the Hydra in the mix. That'll be fun. Because suddenly they don't want to engage the Hydra. Maybe they're trying to pass through the buildings, one of these buildings. And that's the other thing too. I mean, you'll have to look at the business and say, business is locked. Forcing them to break down the door, that could take time, could waste resources. Maybe they can get into a business. Who are the NPCs there? So this is going to be a heavy NPC adventure. Definitely need to write up, a good dozen civilian NPCs that you could encounter. Outline a 20-strong mob of NPCs with stat blocks for the game master, so he doesn't have to come up with that on the fly. Definitely, you need a lot of NPCs detailed, a lot of stat blocks for this. But still, action-packed adventure, and I think this would be fun to play. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room with your Free Friday review of Quick Fantasy Adventure Builder by Wicked Cool Games. Wicked cool. And you know what? I spotted Wicked Cool. I spotted on the in small print on the cover. It says made in Massachusetts, or Massachusetts made. Wicked cool. Christopher, we have to hook up sometime next time I'm in Boston. So definitely Game Master tool that absolutely kicked me out of my writing rut that I would naturally fall into, and not thinking anything of it. Oh, I got to come up with an adventure. This really is outside of my box, outside of my comfort zone, outside of where I naturally go with my thinking processes for writing an adventure. So I highly recommend it. It's intended for fantasy, but as you saw, I just used it to write a sci-fi adventure, and pretty cool one that I think I really need to write up for the community. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. Don't forget, like, subscribe, bell icon, please. Thank you. And keep on gaming. Try out Christopher Capone's Quick Fantasy Adventure Builder and roll credits.